I was able to make money short on a day that actually ended up bullish using the 1 minute short term price action to the downside, but not forgetting where I'm at on the 15-minute side of things, knowing that the day's trend is actually still pretty bullish. So I don't want to hold on to these trades for too long. You could even potentially look to flip your bias and also capitalize on the longs. So let's get right into the video and we'll look at the charts here. On NQ to start off with, we had a nice bullish pop across both assets, no doubt about it. I think ES was like 40 points. I just can't bring myself to like an hour later in the day. I can't bring myself to want to find longs when we're still making these lower highs. Buyers are still clearly struggling every time we get above New York. We've been making lower lows down here. That every time we get up above this New York on the 15-minute side of things, I want to find longs because I could pop open the left side here, the 15-minute chart. You can see very, very bullish up here. Looks like we're retesting the daily view up a little bit later on. We'll get into that later on. But I just do want to find the longs because that's the sentiment heading into the pre-market. We have all these higher highs and higher lows above the daily or above previous days in New York. If you've seen any of these videos, you know that's a clear sign for me to want to buy it. But like I said, I've been cooked on this on the 1 minute of fighting this structure. To find a long, I'm going to need to see a higher high and higher low set in that buyers are controlling that sentiment and are actually staying in and not just these failed high day view up breaks that couldn't hold. Right. So once we get that failure and ES is struggling just the same, you can take a look at it up here as well. Later on in the day, we really ripped. But coming back here to the open, sellers really just popping us down every time we get to this high, every time we get to this high. So I don't love the longs the longer that it's failing. So you can see my two shorts down here. Well, I'm just going to read and react. If you've seen any of these videos as well, you know I look at Edgeful here. We take a look at this report, the initial balance break. We know we probably only break one side. If we filter this report by size instead of breakout, by size, it was a 0.73% initial balance. So when we go off of that, we could do that over here. 80% of the time, it breaks one side. And now that I'm just reading and reacting to the price action of the day, we took out the bottom here. So that's not really a nice bullish sign, but we took out the bottom. We pull back. Well, I anchored a lower day view up there because it is, in fact, a new lower day. So if we anchor it there, I'm just getting in short when sellers step back in to go continue these lower highs that I'm clearly seeing this far, lower highs and lower lows. So let me just listen to that and ride that for the short term, even though I am bullish on the 15-minute. The structure is just telling me to, hey, just sell it. We're going to keep moving lower, lower highs and lower lows. If I get a nice scalp for a new low, a nice exit there. Not going to hold on to it forever, though, because I am still kind of bullish on this 15-minute. We anchor to the new low a day. We pull back again and create another lower high. And again, at this time, ES is well back below its New York view up as well, clearly still painting all these lower highs. So I'm just going to keep listening and reading and reacting to the bearish structure. And I find another short. Again, keeping in mind that initial balance stat that we probably only break one side. So I sold again on the lower day view up break there. A nice exit. I actually added in on that one because I was a little bit too undersized by accident. And I got another nice exit down there as it doesn't run any longer. I think that's the low of day that sets in. So a great exit there, not holding onto it for too long. And as I mentioned, this initial balance stat, we probably only break one side. We take a look at the rest of the afternoon. It ripped higher. So the thesis didn't come into play or come to fruition, but it still helped me to find money long because for the short term, I'm listening and reacting to these stats. Yes, it was invalidated by the end of the day, but there still was an 80% chance we only break one side. So I did the right thing to play that stat and only look for shorts back down the way we single broke. So although we did double break, that doesn't take anything away or how valid these trades are because I played a high probability. It was a very unlikely day that we came all the way back higher, but we did. But we could take a look at the 15-minute. And now you can see, like I mentioned on it before, we actually dipped a little bit below the daily view up. For my second trade, I should mention that second short I took. You can see the execution arrows here, these ones in the middle. I really like the shorts the second time just because, well, buyers try to have that bar close bullish. But by the end of the bar, we left a wick to the upside and actually closed bearish. So that here you can see my last exit on that short. That yes, we dipped below the daily view up, which it often does. But now you look back in the chart, you're like, oh, yeah, that was still just building our higher low. Even though we did get below it, it's just our higher low and looking for the next higher high off the daily view up. I think if you go to ES, it's going to look even clearer over here. I have an arrow to it because I was sending it to our BSC members, perfectly holding the daily view up. That there's no really way you can be bearish when there's this key view up where I'm always looking for my longs of catching that next part of the move because it often comes off of this daily view up, and that's exactly what we did. So I think you could have maybe tried to find longs. Let's go back to the 1 minute here, and you'll see. Let's go to the 2 minute because it was pretty rangy. The 2 minute. Let's go to the regular trading hours here. Very, very choppy, and still those same lower highs and lower lows I was talking about that I can't find along here. I just can't fight these lower highs and lower lows. And I don't think you should either because you don't know now looking back at it that this is the time it was ready to pop higher. And no, now the buyers have control. You could have made a thesis and some observations about the chart. I'll give you one here. I can't, like I said in that beginning trade, I cannot, will not, should not fight this structure. So the fact that we're still making these lower highs, I still want to be a buyer because, like I said on this 15-minute, very, very bullish. So I want to take that information on the 15 over to this 1 minute, but I just know I should not fight these lower lows because this could be looking like we're ready to pop higher and just make that next lower low like we had been making. So if I take that trade and I lose, I'm going to say, what are you doing? Why are you long it into falling structure? You know better than that. Now, to say that you could have taken this one over here, I don't think it's the worst. I think it's maybe a little bit tough. But the one thing you potentially do have on your side is now small higher lows. Looking back to here, that's the bottom set in, potential lower high here, but we don't go make that lower low that I'm talking about. We actually make these small higher lows almost like we were falling down here, but now we're starting to turn back and create that right side of the V, turning back into that bullish trend. And keep in mind on the 15-minute, this is all holding that daily VWAP, still looking really nice for long. So I think you can maybe warrant the longs back here, right? Hindsight or not, because you're seeing a little bit more turning and the sellers weakening that they're not making these lower lows each time. Now they're actually rising a little bit on the bottom. And then if you catch that, you get a rip just straight up. There's really no pullbacks, and then power hour comes back down. So really a dry day. There were great opportunities. But I think the biggest lesson, if you took money short, like I did, you got to be quick with it. I'm not holding on to it for too long. I know I'm fighting, if not into that daily view up on the 15-minute, that if I'm going to find a short, it's going to be around this New York VWAP, get in and out quickly because now you're trading to another key view up on the higher time frame. Same thing if you shorted it here. You definitely could maybe make some money out of that to the downside. But going back to this 15-minute, you really wouldn't want to be in a short for too long because you know the trend isn't actually very, very heavily bearish. So you want to be in, out, and get back into the trend. Later on in the afternoon, I would be saying I'd be looking for where's my next greatest long opportunity. It's going to be along this daily view up. So if I could just find some structure favoring that, like I said in the 1 minute, now starting to create those higher lows, well then you have some reason to believe that hey, we're supporting this structure here, but many people probably bought it there, bought it back here. That is the price that paid, but timing was everything, and we didn't have a whole lot of signs of when it was ready to pop. So hopefully you guys made money on it. And reminder, today on those shorts actually did qualify for my payout with Tradeify here. So if you want to go and get yourself some Tradeify accounts, you can use my name code Evan, get the best deal that they're offering. Right now, it's 35% off for the 50K accounts and 30% off every other account. Just use my name at checkout so you don't have to pay full price. I'm eligible for the payout balance wise, but I need a couple more days of trading because I just haven't traded this account for 10 days yet. Another thing I mentioned in this video was the edge full stats. If you want to sign up for that, always everything I mentioned in these videos is always down below in the links in the description. So always check that out. But really nice start to the week, $700 almost on a Monday. Two trades to the downside on a day that actually was very bullish, higher time frame, but very, very slow on this 1 minute. There's no denying that. This is not what our beautiful ESs look like at the open, just sitting sideways and then a rally in the afternoon. So hope you guys made some money on it. Hopefully keeping in mind that 15-minute structure and that trend can help you guys like it has helped me, as well as using your discretion. Like I mentioned, I made another video about that of discretion of maybe now I'm seeing higher lows. My 15-minute is bullish. I shouldn't be in the shorts anymore because they're getting weaker and weaker. The shorts came in at the open, but now I should actually be looking back in the direction of trend. All right. So let me know if you need any more help. Always feel free to reach out. Check out the streams on AceFX TV. Again, you could use my name, Evan Dyer. I'll give you 50% off the AceFX TV streams. But always trade safe, follow the rules. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.